My sister Emma was diagnosed with leukemia after a routine checkup. The news hit like a thunderclap, but then came the twist. My bone marrow matched hers. Out of some strange, aching curiosity, I decided to test them, not my blood but my family. So I told them that I was sick. I wanted to see how they'd react. Their answer? Cold. Immediate. Donating bone marrow is risky. We can't let your sister take that gamble. Don't drag her into this mess. Life and death are predetermined. You'll just have to deal with it. The irony was suffocating. When they thought I might need help, they dismissed me without hesitation. But for Emma they would have moved mountains. Emma herself didn't even pretend to hesitate. She flatly refused, citing her plans to start a family, her life, her future, her dreams. And just like that, whatever delicate thread still bound us together as a family finally snapped. I left the test results on the table like an afterthought. And then, I walked away for good. The truth was, when I learned I was a match for Emma, I had just found out I was pregnant. My advisor had pulled me aside after reviewing the match. His voice was serious, almost heavy. If you want to donate bone marrow to Emma, he said, there's a high chance you'd have to end the pregnancy. You should discuss it with your husband before deciding. The words sliced me open. I had fought so hard to get here. Endless treatments, careful planning, each month a painful question mark until finally, it happened. My husband had been over the moon when I told him. He was already talking about names, colors for the nursery, and how our child would inherit my stubborn chin. How could I even think about giving that up? But Emma was only 29. And Emma was Emma, the golden child, the one my parents adored without limits. If something happened to her, I knew it would shatter them in a way my absence never could. I battled with myself the entire afternoon, pacing the office until the sun had sunk low. By the time I drove home, I was exhausted, my decision weighing like lead in my chest. When I walked into the house, I was met with the sound of laughter and clinking glasses. The rest of Emma's family was gathered around the table, wine glasses raised in warm celebration. Jakey, my brother, and his girlfriend were there too, leaning close, smiling like they'd just won the lottery. My presence was like a stone tossed into a still pond. The laughter died instantly, glasses lowered, a strange, suffocating silence replaced the warmth. Mom was the first to recover, her smile just a little too polite. "Oh, we thought you'd be busy," she said, waving me toward an empty chair. "We didn't want to bother you. But you're lucky. You came just in time. Please, join us." Her words were honey, but the distance in her tone was ice. They weren't inviting me, they were tolerating me. And so, I smiled back, bright, effortless. If that was the game they wanted to play, I would play along. I gently held her hand and told her, "Mom, I am sick." Her hand stiffened, but she still had mine. "Eating more food fixes everything." She dismissed it. She didn't ask what was wrong, just looked for an excuse to free her hand. Jake frowned. "Lily, you are here to kill the vibe. You ruin every happy moment we have. Today is about Emma's overseas tour. Don't tell me it's not on purpose." I ignored him and sat in the chair. Mom offered, "I have leukemia." Jake went silent. Mom's hand shook, and she dropped her chopsticks. Silence filled the room. Dad finally spoke after Mom's eyes welled up with tears. He stated that your in-laws should be confident that they can cover the treatment costs. He added, with a disapproving glance at me, "Remain calm about these things. Do not raise your mother's blood pressure." Mom began putting food on my plate, agreeing with him. "Listen to your father. Eat first, then we talk." Emma joined in, smiling like a carefree child. "Yes, think positive thoughts. This is how you stay healthy." I didn't touch the food and instead looked around at them. I wasn't asking for financial assistance. I wanted to know if Emma would donate her marrow to me. The room became quiet again. Dad finally banged his chopsticks against the table. "Ridiculous," he said, frowning. "Don't you know bone marrow donation is dangerous?" I gave a slight, bitter smile. "Isn't it worth the small risk to save me?" Dad, however, turned away stubbornly. "We cannot take that 1% chance with Emma. It is true if something happens to her." I wasn't surprised to be the second child sent away. Dad never wanted me around. Not even now. Fortunately, Mom and Emma have been nicer. When I looked at Mom, tears were already rolling down her cheeks. I hoped that illness would finally close the gap between us. Perhaps she'd hug me like she does Emma, but she said heartbreaking things. Instead, life and death are predetermined. You have to accept it. Holding her broken heart, she added, "You're sick and want to drag Emma down. How would I live if I lost both daughters?" I realized it wasn't about losing both daughters. That scared her. Emma was the only person who died. I turned to see how Emma reacted. Since I got back, she has been decent to me. She'd chastised Jake when he teased me. But now she was glaring at me, unusually angry. "Lily, you did it on purpose." she exclaimed, standing up. I've been wanting to say this for a while. You believe that sending you away was unfair, and you have returned, gloomy, attempting to make us all unhappy, acting weak as if you have significantly suffered outside. Please don't assume we can't tell. You want them to feel guilty. She took a deep breath, her voice leveling out. But there is a limit. We tend to overlook minor details, but now you're casually discussing bone marrow donations. You want to force our parents into an impossible situation. If they refuse, they are heartless. If they agree, we could lose both daughters. You say I am so vicious. Why can't you allow us to be happy? Emma said as she reached out and hugged Mom. After hearing her words, Mom began crying with grief. Emma, please stop it. It's your father's fault for insisting on having a boy and a daughter. Otherwise, we would not have. She did not finish, but everyone understood what she meant. Otherwise, I would not have been born. Jake also stood up. They were both standing by Mom's side, giving me the same resentment. Emma lifted her head, looking righteous. Lily, I'm not allowing you to hurt Mom and Dad. Let me make this clear today. I will not donate my bone marrow to you. She stood proudly beside Mom. This has nothing to do with Mother and Father. If it gets out, don't call them heartless. It's my selfishness. I'm afraid Mom will be heartbroken after losing 2 daughters. It is my decision not to donate. I will take the blame. Emma's expression was as determined as a martyr. I chuckled as I fiddled with the hospital report in my pocket. After a while, I looked at Emma and asked her, word by word, are you sure? No matter what, you will not donate. Emma gently wiped Mom's tears away, looking even more like a martyr. I will not donate, she stated. If you want to blame someone, blame me. Don't take it out on Mom and Dad. I am trying to have a baby. I cannot give up my child's life for yours. I laughed with tears in my eyes and gave her a pitying look. Then softly said, yeah, you're correct. You cannot save someone by killing your child. Emma didn't understand and lowered her head to comfort Mom on the other side, who was crying uncontrollably and breathing heavily. In the meantime, she leaned into her 2 children's arms, as if she were the one left uncared for. She patted her chest weakly, as she had leukemia. It is entirely your fault, Tom, for insisting on having a son and a daughter. Father, irritated by the blame, slammed the table and got up. He approached me, pulled a large red envelope from his pocket, and tossed it in front of me like a beggar. Some spare change, regardless of whether it was a real illness or not. Take the money and scram if you cause stress for your mother. Do not expect me to recognize you right in front of me. It was a beautifully wrapped red envelope, clearly prepared with care. Take a closer look. It even had beautiful handwritten words. We wish our dear daughter a successful performance. Have fun. I chuckled to myself and looked up to ask, give me this money to save my life. Won't it disrupt your daughter's travel plans? Dad glared at me with disgust, his voice devoid of warmth. He said, don't give me that sarcastic crap. You sought fairness and justice. If that's the case, I'm not opposed to ending our relationship. I never wanted you in the first place, but I made sure you were raised properly, fed, and clothed. You should feel grateful. Not always picking fights. He was determined to turn his face away. I always listened to your mother and put up with you today. You have crossed the line. Please don't blame me for not recognizing you as my daughter anymore. He eventually expelled me. The restaurant fell silent yet again. They silently cleared a path for me to leave, with everyone watching quietly, waiting for me, the disgrace, to go with the handout. At that point, I realized that no matter how humble I was, I would never be able to join this other family. I do not want one. So when I looked up again, I put aside my previous caution. I accepted it, weighed the envelope, and then slowly stood up in heels. I was as tall as Dad. I was no longer the little girl who looked forward to seeing him. Every month, I looked into his eyes and quietly asked, why was I born if you didn't want me? Couldn't you control yourself? Or was I someone else's child? Dad's pupils shrank. I was suddenly too shocked to speak. His lips trembled as he attempted to raise his hand to hit me. I sidestepped, causing him to stumble. Then I gestured with my chin at Mom, and you stopped crying. If you didn't want me, why weren't you tougher? I couldn't resist. At 140 pounds, Mom finally stopped crying. Her pretense of being indebted to me was gone. She angrily pointed a trembling finger at me. You ungrateful brat. I gave birth to you. How is there such a big difference? Emma threw herself into her mother's arms, crying uncontrollably, after being insulted. Jake appeared to want to hit me, lunging for my wrist, and their partners joined the chaos. While being dragged around, the restaurant became disorganized. I received a solid slap from Dad. My face turned to the side, warm blood was streaming from my nose. Get out, Dad shouted. We're done now. There is no such filial child in my household. My hand instinctively moved to my stomach. Everything was still fine there. Only then did I fully understand the strange bond I had with the bit of life inside me. Because it is what I want, I cannot fail it, so I raised my face and glared at him. Okay, you said it. I am no longer your daughter. Dad gave me a disgusted expression. His face is cold, correct. I said it. My word is final. I wiped my face hard. Fine, from now on we are on our own. Whoever seeks assistance first is a coward. Dad remained silent, his neck stiff, but Emma cried out, yes, whoever seeks help first is a jerk and will die horribly. Aren't you leaving? You want to stress out? My mom, satisfied. I smiled as I pulled a report from my pocket and tossed it onto the envelope. Great. Emma, please remember what you said today. I won't take the money. You might need it. After coming out, I should have felt relieved. An issue that had been bothering me. Everything was resolved in the afternoon, and I could finally keep my child without feeling guilty about donating my bone marrow. I no longer had to maintain those relationships with family. But as I laughed, tears streamed down my cheeks. I am sitting at an empty bus stop. Everyone has a ride home except for me. I can't remember where I'm from. Suddenly, messages appeared in the family group chat for about 60 people. I opened it to find an announcement from Dad. Lily, the filial daughter, insulted her parents and misbehaved. We severed all family ties with her. Any debts or donation requests made in our family's name will no longer be acknowledged. Please take note that after reading, my blood appeared to freeze. I can't imagine how I'd feel if I were sick. Tom is ruthless, but he is only pushing himself to a dead end. Following this announcement, the once quiet family conversation turned lively. Everyone is gossiping about what happened. Aunt attempted to probe. It isn't easy to manage children who are not raised in the same household. It's the parents' fault if you say it doesn't matter and refuse to help. Uncle advised against being too harsh. Family ties run deep. It will all be fine once you calm down. Jake spoke up when he realized the relatives weren't taking the announcement seriously. Lily is sick and wants my sister to put herself at risk by donating bone marrow. She refuses to suffer alone, attempting to morally blackmail our parents into losing both of their children. After Jake's comment, the group chat became even more active. I heard about donating bone marrow. Isn't this risky? Right? Maybe she wants to save her own life and avoid putting your sister in danger. She's probably not trying to put pressure on your parents. The child is pitiful. If the risk is not high, bone marrow should be donated. Realizing the gossip was getting out of control, Emma intervened on behalf of her friends and relatives. Family matters should not be publicized, but Dad only made the post to keep you all from being missiled. Whether bone marrow donation is risky or not, Lily will undoubtedly look for a match among you all. Jake commented, Dad just wants to warn everyone. If she comes to you, we are not liable. After that remark, even those who were defending me stopped. Everyone feared that the situation would reach them. Emma continued with a sensible conversation. It is natural to be fearful of risk. It is not shameful if you do not want to donate. We all have families to care for. If I were sick, I would not even ask for help from my family. Some people who were afraid of trouble began agreeing with Emma, and being cut off from the family was a silent agreement. I leaned back on the bench, unable to stop myself from sarcastically laughing and crying. I took a few screenshots and called Felix. Honey, I've decided to keep the baby. Please come pick me up. No one appeared to have looked at the test results I had left in the red envelope. Emma's world on social media seemed to be unconcerned as usual. On Mother's Day, she shared photos of herself accompanying her mother to offer incense. She mentioned that taking care of oneself is the best gift she could give to her mother. Not long after, Mom gave me a charm. Sent through someone the day before leaving for a tour abroad. She posted a family send-off photo. True families want the best for one another. They would not drag each other down. Jake liked it and commented. Just 2 days before leaving for the tour, she posted a breezy goodbye to troublesome things and annoying people. Starting tomorrow, I'll be flying. Her family rallied behind her, but her posts the day before her departure were unusually quiet. I was not surprised, though. That was the day she would receive her test results. Emma's dance troupe had physicals done at her workplace before the tour. Because of my mentor, I knew her outcomes ahead of time. My mentor is an expert in leukemia treatment, and we recently joined the bone marrow bank, so I discovered the matching results by chance. First, Emma arrived just before we finished for the day, and she and Jake were blocking the mentor's office door. Doctor, this test result. It must be wrong. Emma spoke anxiously but calmly. You see, I recently had a falling out with Lily, who works in your department. She must have been upset that I didn't donate bone marrow and secretly changed my test results. Her words caused everyone in the office to look up in surprise. Emma grew more certain. So, doctor, please correct the results. Our dance troupe requires this health certificate immediately. Because I'm flying out tonight, my mentor adjusted his glasses to reflect a gentle approach, which yielded such a significant result. The hospital wouldn't risk making a mistake. He cut him off in anger, not daring to make a mistake. You allow Lily to change people's outcomes as she pleases. You better give me a good explanation, or I will sue your entire department. I arrived just in time to see the scene unfold. Jake rushed at me, but my mentor stood up and pushed him aside. His face was icy as he issued an order to security. Emma quickly displayed a pleading smile. My brother is furious. Please, doctor, change the results for me. We will not pursue Lily's responsibilities. I'm desperate. My flight is tonight. The mentor frowned and glanced up at me. Didn't you tell them about the results? I left the test results with them, but it appears they didn't check. Emma's smile froze instantly. My colleagues approached to shield me, whispering encouragingly as they touched my belly. They're treating you like this, and you're still considering donating bone marrow to them. You must be a saint. Why would you risk losing your child to save such ungrateful individuals? Emma stumbled back after hearing those words and sat down heavily in a chair. Jake cluelessly kept raging. So, Lily, you and your colleagues are all deceiving us. Just wait, I will bring your department down. Nobody will escape. His threats went unanswered because Emma's nose began to bleed. 1 drop, 2 drops. They quietly fell on her immaculate white gown. Emma was freaked out. Her eyes welled up, and she quickly covered her nose, attempting to hide the bloodstain on her dress with her hands. She looked up at me, terrified and angry. It's you. You must have done this. No response. The people around her looked at her with varying degrees of sympathy, and then she broke down, tears streaming down her cheeks. Eventually, security had to escort her out of the office. Emma did not travel abroad for the tour. Her entire family rushed her to urgent tests. The results were undeniable. They eventually found the test report I had left. They only realized what they had done after the fact. My mother called me the day they found the test report. As soon as I picked up the phone, her loud sobs hit me unexpectedly. Lily, you did it on purpose. They always said you had a dark heart, but I didn't believe it until now. You purposefully provoked us, forcing us to cut ties. You didn't want to save your sister. At that time, she didn't believe I was the only one who could save. Emma was the one with the resources, who was confident in her treatment. So she let down her guard and cursed me openly. I silently hung up and blocked her number. After considering their options, they turned to the most authoritative figure, my mentor. The next time we saw each other was in the hospital. Emma was admitted. Tom grabbed my mentor's hand and stated unequivocally that he wants his daughter cured at any cost. He slipped a larger envelope into his hands than the one he gave me on Charity Day. Mentor refused the envelope, explaining that there was no suitable match for the bone marrow, and that they would have to proceed with conservative treatment. He suggested organizing and encouraging family and friends to be tested for a potential match. Tom quickly offered his arm to test me. She's my daughter. I am confident that I will be a good match. I'll donate. Mentor gave me a silent glance. Following his gaze, Tom awkwardly touched his lips with his fist. When he saw me, I opened my folder, which contained a formal statement about the risks of donating bone marrow. After I finished, I focused my attention on Tom, who faced numerous risks in donating marrow. Will you still do it? Aren't you afraid your wife will lose 2 loved ones? His face turned red, but he stubbornly averted his gaze. I smirked and shifted my gaze to Jake and his mother, who were standing behind him. Jake appeared straightforward. There's no need to talk. I'll donate. I can't help it. I prefer my sister over everyone, especially you. I looked at Mom. Are you also in? Her eyes welled up, as if she had calmed down after screaming at me that day. She remained silent, dabbing her eyes. A mother loves all of her children. And if I hadn't been so angry with you, I wouldn't have. I scoff, interrupting her. Please let me know if you will be tested so that I can schedule the check. The words stuck in her throat, so she looked down. Sheepishly donate. Do you agree with Jake's donation too? She gripped her chest, her voice trembling. Yes. You're no longer afraid of losing both children. Mom covered her face as tears silently flowed through her fingers in the office. My mentor was already present. As soon as I walked in, a few colleagues surrounded me, with yogurt, nuts, and small snacks piled on my desk. Lily, a happy mood leads to a healthy baby. Yeah, forget about annoying people and things. That's how you get a beautiful baby. Lily, hug me. I will always love you. My eyes felt slightly moist. The gloom in the ward lifted significantly when my mentor walked over and tossed a stack of papers on my desk. Quit munching. Get to work, or you will have difficulty delivering. Naturally, the entire place chuckled. I suddenly felt relaxed. Colleagues learned about the match results. First, she mumbled. Karma is honest, and there isn't a single match. They did not give up on the result and sought verification from other hospitals. We ran into each other again as the results were in. When I entered the elevator, my always pampered mother appeared 10 years older, with slumped shoulders and sunken eyes. Her eyes lit up unexpectedly. He hesitated for a moment before gathering the courage to speak to me. "Lily, how are you lately?" I turned to face her. "What do you want to say?" She couldn't take it anymore. Her face crumpled, and tears streamed down once more. "Lily, you are a doctor. What is to be done about your sister's illness?" After a moment of thought, I smiled gently at her. All three of us in the elevator had excited expressions on our faces. Mom enthusiastically reached for my hand. "You will donate to help your sister." I gently shook her hand and gave her the take-it container I was holding. "Please take it. Allow your daughter to eat." "Didn't you say that a full belly cures all?" Her smile froze and quickly turned beet red. Jake cursed and moved to hit me, but Tom stopped him. When the door opened, I stepped out without a backward glance. I was curious about how far they would go for Emma. Their actions continue to surprise me. That night, Tom removed the earlier announcement from our family group chat. That made things even clearer. It was not about favoring sons over daughters. They didn't want another unwanted child like me. Caught in the middle. After Tom retracted his announcement, someone chimed in, "So, Tom, calm down, huh? It hasn't been long but he's already taken it back." "Yeah. What could separate a family? Talk it out." Tom shared some embarrassed emojis, confirming their banter. Then he spoke up. "It was my fault for not asking. Donating bone marrow on impulse is not a risky decision. Just like giving blood, what harm could come from drawing a few tubes of blood? I've heard it's even good for your health." Nobody responded. A moment later, second aunt sent 3 significant question marks. "You were the one who said it was risky and would cut ties. Now you're saying it's beneficial. Tom, you have been all over the place with these stories. Are you about to make another announcement?" First, Aunt was constantly stirring the pot. Someone chimed in. "Yeah. The third brother feels sorry for the children. We're about to make another announcement." First aunt is constantly stirring the pot. Someone chimed in. "Yeah. The third brother, feeling sorry for the kids, attempted to persuade us to donate bone marrow. You said there was a risk and you wouldn't be held accountable, so we're afraid to do it." Tom remained silent for quite some time as his one-person show failed, and his mother, who had never spoken in front of the group, arrived to support him. "We had all gone to the hospital for tests a few days ago. Honestly, there is no risk. We just took a few blood samples and the son-in-law handed us large red envelopes. He said whoever is a match will receive a house in their name." The group was ecstatic with such generous incentives. Are Tom's in-laws so wealthy that they can give away a house? Oh, the spur of the moment. A decision has been made. Who would dare to ask for a house like that? Oh, the spur of the moment. After the initial stance, one might wonder who would dare to ask for a home. Everyone echoed their agreement. They wanted Tom to promise something. I see a glimmer of hope. Mom became anxious. Why wouldn't there be? Of course there will be. You are all aware that our son-in-law is well off. I will have him write a guarantee. Tom agreed. We know our son-in-law is well off. I will have him write a guarantee. Maybe Tom forgot I was in the group. Or perhaps he thought I wouldn't expose him. But when I noticed my husband working late in the study, I quietly typed a statement in the chat. There is no way I am going to let anyone covet the house. My husband worked extremely hard to earn a living. Or an asterisk, a statement marked with an asterisk. Asterisk, asterisk. I'm Lily and I don't have leukemia. I don't need a bone marrow match, so my husband's house hasn't been promised to anyone. Also, I have severed ties with them. Tom, who claims to stand by his words, wants you to give bone marrow under pretenses. Investigate thoroughly. Any consequences of donating are not my concern. Tom, the chat has blown up again. Some of the younger people who still had a sense of right and wrong rose to speak. Uncle, what is going on? Emma is sick. Why say it's Lily? It's Uncle. You aren't being fair. You're not being fair if you initially thought Lily was your uncle. Initially I assumed Lily was ill. So, cut ties. Now we know it's Emma tricking us into donating. Do you believe it? Uncle, why is this so obvious? Who would be willing to donate to your family if you behaved like this? Even the big uncle finally spoke with the third brother. That is not cool. We are family. There's no need to deceive us. It's not about the house, but if we continue to do things this way, no one will take the initiative. Emma couldn't stay quiet any longer as things started to go wrong. She sent a long voice message while sobbing. She begged her friends and family, even offering a house as a promise to remember the lifesaver forever. She could offer a house and promise to remember the lifesaver forever. However, Everyone knew she had a prenuptial agreement, making the offer impossible, and Tom, who wanted to buy Jake a house, couldn't spare one either. Someone shared a screenshot. Emma previously stated that being scared of the risk is normal. It is not shameful not to donate. Everyone has a family to care for. If I were sick, I would not seek help from my family. The group went silent. This final message sat there like a slap in Emma's face. A few of Tom's closest associates, albeit reluctantly, completed their tests. Big uncle, second uncle, and a few brothers, but none of them matched. Eventually, Mom approached me right in Emma's hospital room. I was led into the large private room, which already had several cameras set up. Mom immediately knelt in front of me. "Lily, I beg you, save your sister. Only you are a match for her. Why aren't you helping?" I looked around and recognized a few famous video bloggers. They were live streaming. A colleague came by, looked concerned, and showed me their phone. "The stream has a large audience. This girl is heartless. This is her sister. How can she not help? Yes, even a nurse does not save her own family. Who else could she save? What hospital does she work at? We should steer clear." My heart became cold. I put my phone away and stared coldly at Mom. "So, if I do not donate, you will ruin me." One becomes ill, devastates another, and has no fear of losing. Both daughters' mothers appeared embarrassed, their faces visibly reddening. However, when she saw Emma on the bed, her eyes took on a firmer expression that only a mother could have. I had never felt so secure with a mother before. Mom appeared desperate, slamming her forehead on the ground repeatedly. "Lily, I beg you. Look at the fact that I brought you into this world. Save your sister. It's simply donating bone marrow. There's no risk. Why aren't you helping? Mom understands your envy. Your sister believes she outshines you. But don't be foolish about life and death. Mom is only thinking about your good. Consider if your sister died. Don't you regret not helping your entire life?" Her gut-wrenching plea increased the stream's viewer count by thousands. Her mother even kneeled, and now she stands unmoved. Right? Donating bone marrow is safe. Why make it difficult for her family? Her mother must be truthful to save both daughters. She willingly kneeled. "I'm crying, Mom. I see no movement." Kneeled again, gripping my leg. "Lee, I apologize if your angry mother took better care of your sister. It's Mom's fault. Do not take it out on your sister. If you promise to save your sister, it doesn't matter if your mother dies. As long as you two get along, you can live without guilt." Jake, who was standing stubbornly off to the side, eventually caved. He knelt as straight as a rail. I couldn't help laughing. "Weren't you going to hit me in the elevator? What is this about now?" Jake's chest heaved, and his face turned beet red. He glared at me, wishing he could rip me apart. Then he slammed his forehead against the floor with a loud thud. Not a gentle hit. The live stream chat erupted in hate. Again, this woman is a cold-blooded physician. Does she want to drive her mother and brother to their deaths? Insane. We found her. She is currently at such and such a hospital. Let's confront her. Those of you nearby should go first. I'll be right behind a colleague who is anxiously tugging on my sleeve. I gave her a reassuring look, saying, "Don't worry." There were only about 10,000 people on the live chat. Far from enough. They appeared to realize it was time for Tom. He shuffled over to me with a limp, as if his gout had flared up. As he looked at me, tears streamed down his face. His eyes attempted to shine with the affection of a father, but it only made my skin crawl. I had never seen him look at me like that, not even when he sent me away. I rubbed my arms and turned away in disgust. "If you're going to kneel, then do it. Please spare me the nauseating conversation." Tom choked on his words, mouth open but nothing coming out, before falling heavily to his knees. The conversation became wild. "Oh my God, Neil has hurt me. This father is making me cry. If I meet that woman, God, Tom has hurt me. This father is making me cry, and if I met that woman I would slap her so hard. Raise funds to slap this cruel doctor." The viewer's rage reached a fever pitch. Then Emma stumbled out of her hospital bed. As she approached her mother's side, tears streamed down her face. "Mom, do not beg her. Even if I die, I don't want to see you. So humble," she sobbed, her cries heartbreaking. "Mom, please stand up. It breaks my heart." She tried to pull Tom and Jake up, but they didn't move. So the entire family sat on their knees, wrapped in each other's arms, and cried. "Is it simply donating bone marrow? Take mine. Where can I donate? Check me in as the first slapping squad arrives at the hospital. We are making this doctor pay today." The live stream attracted a new high number of viewers. The hospital entrance was swarming with people. Even hospital administrators showed up. Mom's sobbing slowly subsided. She reached for my hand with confidence and triumph in her eyes. "Lily, when has a family ever failed to talk things out? I spoke with the hospital's leaders. They will not trouble you. Donate now. Or I've made your father retract his statement about cutting ties." After you donate, I'll prepare a healthy meal to replenish your body. I looked at Mom closely. Her features looked similar to mine. The soft hands and eyes were filled with maternal love. That's all I ever wanted in my dreams. Now it just disgusts me. I pushed her hand away and motioned toward the door. The path was cleared, and my mentor entered with the hospital's leaders. The leaders are here. They're here. Fire this cold-hearted person. Fire them all. Fire this cold-hearted individual. Fire them all. The chat was filled with requests for my dismissal. Mom performed a respectful bow to the leaders. Leaders, please do not fire my daughter. She will donate. I convinced her. She agreed. My colleague laughed angrily at her performance. My mentor too was taken aback. I gave him a helpless expression. Then I casually took out my phone. Who told me to donate? Everyone, including Mom, fell silent. The chat was astounded as well. Unbelievable. Even with the leaders present, she is adamant that the justice warriors step in. Let's go to such and such hospital. I queued a video on my phone and projected it onto the screen. Then I calmly adjusted my collar in front of the camera. Since you are also interested in watching, let me give you some more to chew on. Remember, I'm Lily, the second child in a family that had a third child to have a boy. When I was 4 years old, I was sent away to live somewhere else. It wasn't until my aunt died when I was 17 that they brought me home. This is why I will not donate bone marrow. Check out the VCR as soon as I mentioned that they realized something was wrong. Jake reacted the quickest, lunging for my phone, but the security guards present to keep order restrained him. Mom's face turned pale. She shook Tom's arm angrily. It's entirely your fault if it wasn't for you. I turned back to face the hospital's leaders and nodded. They gave a signal and I pressed play. Tens of thousands of people on the live stream went silent. The hospital room and its surroundings became quieter. It was incredibly quiet. Only the sound from the television could be heard in the footage of the day. When I arrived home, the scene was captured by a kitchen camera that covered the entire dining area. I said I was sick. Mom, who was serving the food, told them to eat more. I said leukemia. She stated, a full stomach cures all. I asked my sister if she could donate bone marrow. Dad slapped his chopsticks onto the table. More comments flew by. Holy crap. What have I just seen? Total plot twist, something was wrong. There is no reason not to donate without cause. This family has a double standard. It is infuriating. The video continued playing. Emma chuckled. I worry too much. Smile more. It fixes everything. Now that I'm the sick one, why don't I smile it off, smile it away? But you're in the hospital, you beep. In the video, Dad threw a large red envelope at me. He slapped me and said, I'm Tom and I stand by my word. I am cutting family ties with you. I grin with gritted teeth. Whoever asks for help is a fool. This guy is swinging for the fences, trying to knock someone out. He boasted about keeping his word, so why is he kneeling now? Huh, loser. His crocodile almost duped me. Tears just flowed. This old bastard is highly biased. I'm fuming. Emma finally had her turn to speak in the video. Anyone who asks for help is a jerk. May they be struck by lightning and perish miserably. Oh my god, how can such a calm-looking girl be so vicious? Lightning struck, causing a miserable death. Karma strikes so fast, it's no surprise she refused to ask for help. Earlier, she swore a deadly oath. Instant karma. That is too satisfying. The video continued to show what happened after I left. That medical report was placed in the red envelope, but no one even looked at it. Jake tossed it aside as trash and handed Emma the envelope. Here's the money for your trip abroad. Sice. Have fun and don't let it dampen your mood. Let us continue to eat the bad vibes that remain. The atmosphere was not as lively as before, but dinner continued. Mom wiped her tears but continued to serve her children's food. She's even concerned about Emma's eating habits. After she leaves the table, only one outsider sets down their utensils outside the hospital. A commotion began. Whispers reached Tom's ear. Tom picked up a chair and smashed it against the television. The wall-mounted television crashed to the floor. His actions caused the image to disappear with a zap. The shouting outside grew louder. A heartless family gives you the right to get sick. Serves you right. Who said that asking for help is shameful? Call me Grandpa, you old fool. In this day and age, how can you be so biased if you do not want her? Why have her at all? You cannot raise what you have bred. Nobody would donate in your shoes. Please do not donate to them, girl. Treat them as they treated you. Mom's face turned pale from fear. She hugged Emma before backing away repeatedly. Lily, please close the door and stop filming. Get out. I kept a cold stare. Oh, now you're being filmed and cursed, and you can't take it. Didn't you encourage them to curse me? I call you Mom. Please teach me what it means to treat others the way you want to be treated. Mom collided with the bed edge and sat down hard. Security guards had control over Tom and Jake. Messages rushed through the live comments section at the hospital. Change the entrance, then attack the target. They played us for fools. Let's show them we're not to be played with. I took the ultrasound report from the professor and pointed it at the camera. It was proof that I was pregnant. Because there were so many people today, the evidence was visible on the screen. Let's have a witness. I'm currently 20 weeks pregnant. My professor said that if I had to donate marrow, I'd probably have to abort the baby first. Emma's life is essential, as are my baby's. I hesitated between these two lives, unsure whether or not to donate. Mom rushed over before I could finish what I was saying, as if she had heard something hopeful. Lily's mother knew you couldn't be that heartless. You are pregnant. Listen to Mom. You can have more children, but a dead person cannot return. This time, the online curse was not as swift. Shut the hell up. You cannot simply replace one shameless child with another. Why give up someone else's child for your daughter? If it hadn't been for security, those people would have attacked. I pushed Mom aside and kept talking. They're correct. Later on, I realized that it's not the same without a child. This child was a blessing to me. I can't simply kill them, so I can't donate their marrow. I said everything clearly to keep them from bothering the hospital administration again. Also, I hope that public opinion will support me. After I finished, the hospital's leader declared that if they harassed him again, they would be kicked out. They gave up hope after the issue was resolved. But I underestimated their affection for Emma. When colleagues escorted me outside, Mom knelt in front of the camera and hit her head on the ground. Please, it is entirely our fault, only two old fools. Please donate marrow for my daughter. I'm begging you right now. A chat screenshot from the family group has surfaced online. Emma's bold statements were highlighted. If I got sick, I would never ask my family. If marrow donation involves risks, our family accepts no responsibility. With that, our curses reigned supreme, and no one stepped forward to challenge them. They sold their house for rewards, but few people showed up after the live broadcast. Uproar, the enraged Zins confronted Tom and Jake. They summoned me at the hospital entrance, but the blows intended for me landed on them instead. Emma's condition improved quickly after that. My department transferred me elsewhere. Hubby was worried, hoping I wouldn't go to work and fearing retaliation instead of revenge. My mom was the first to arrive at my door. She arrived at night in the cold, standing outside with a food container, waiting for me. Hubby allowed her in, aside from my wedding visit. It was her first time at my house. She looked around as her eyes became moist. She opened the container and laid it out in layers, sweet and sour. Ribs, she wiped her eyes. Your favorite when you were younger. 4-year-olds shouldn't have such vivid memories. But I never will. I was eating her sweet and sour ribs the day they kicked me out. The mother who never smiled at me smiled warmly as she fed me ribs that day. She said they were made specifically for me. But before I could finish one piece, Tom came over sternly and said, "Hurry up. The car is waiting silently." He lifted me off the table that day. I cried my heart out. The half-chewed rib fell to the floor. Since then, I have never liked sweet and sour ribs again. Mom choked up and offered me a rib. I am sorry for Lily's mother. I know you're mad at me, sweetie, but I'm also hurting. Growing up in a male-dominated family, I had few options. Have you noticed that I haven't made sweet and sour ribs since you left? The tangy smell reminds me of that cold winter when I was 4. I felt helpless, like I was drowning, and tears streamed down my face. Mom trembled while wiping away my tears. Lily, I admit that I was biased. I raised Emma for more than 20 years, but I only had you for 4. Naturally, I was kinder to her, but Jake, that is on me. Please do not blame Emma. In honor of the 4 years I raised you, donate your bone marrow to her. I know I made mistakes. And I promise to make it up to you twice as much from now on. I remembered her. Except the longing for her care. I could never be as heartless as she was towards me. I couldn't help but wonder if Emma could hold on until after my baby was born. Would I donate then? I never ate the sweet and sour ribs that day. The truth is that I'm a little dark inside. Even after having the baby, I probably wouldn't want to donate the marrow. Maybe Mom gave Emma the wrong idea. When Emma attempted to hit my belly, she screamed about killing my baby. I was prepared and could easily avoid her. She was surrounded by medical personnel and appeared unstable, kneeling and crying when she couldn't harm my baby because she could not hurt your child. I beg you. Please, please. Her voice cracked, raw with desperation. Why don't you just get struck by lightning and die a horrible death? Ah ha ha. Emma laughed bitterly, then broke into sobs again. Lily, please. I beg you. Get an abortion and donate your marrow to me. Those words were the final nail in the coffin. She was kicked out of the hospital that same day. She never lived to see my baby born. And I never had to make the choice she tried to force on me. After that, I cut off all contact. I heard they were torn apart online, harassed, shamed, and eventually driven to move far away. How could I ever bear losing my baby? I took my daughter to my aunt's old home to pay respects. When I noticed someone standing by the grave, it was Mom. She had aged so much that her once sharp presence was now a fragile shadow. Her eyes landed on my daughter, and for a moment, they softened. Tears welled. "Lily, you're back. I kept some sweet and sour ribs warm for you." Then her voice shifted, pleading, "What? You're tired of donating. I'll donate to you." My daughter gripped my hand, hiding behind me. I quietly lifted her into my arms and walked past without a word. Later she asked, "Mommy, will you get me a brother?" I smiled faintly and shook my head. "No, sweetheart. Never. I will never let you feel the sting of favoritism." And that was the truth. My daughter will grow up knowing one thing above all: she is enough.